Yes.
How should the United States be positioning its foreign policy right now?
Good question. The United States has attached its wagon to two forces in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and Israel. Oil and Israel. Largely Israel for domestic reasons, because it makes sense domestically. And we've gotten ourselves caught a bit in the Israel trap, I think, because we're having to make a lot of decisions. We saw this in Turkey most recently. Turkey has become more democratic, and as they become more democratic, they become more anti-Israel and anti-American foreign policy, because they don't like squeezing Iran, for example. America refused to appoint an ambassador to Turkey. For over a year, Congress refused to, the Republican Party said, no, we're not good, we want to punish Turkey, because they sent that boat to Gaza. And then they tried to make trouble for our best friend in the Middle East. And that, politically, it's very, it's good in America to hurt Turkey and to try to punish them for what they've done. I think it's bad foreign policy. And most of our foreign policy people are saying, don't do that. You cannot alienate Turkey. Turkey just announced in the middle of the Cairo thing that they were going ahead with a $30 billion trade agreement with Iran. We have been putting a lot of pressure on Turkey not to do that, because we're trying to bring Iran to their knees and impoverish Iranians. They just thumb their nose at us. Now we're going to get mad at them for doing that, because they're not. Our major policy in the Middle East is to hurt Iran right now. That's our biggest enemy in the world, and we're going to hurt them. Now Turkey has said, I'm against you. What are we going to do? We're going to alienate a lot of friends. Egypt just let Iranian ships through the Suez for the first time. That was a symbolic move on Iran's side, but it's caused a lot of furor. And if Egypt does this because it becomes more democratic and the people want it, what is America going to do? Are they going to begin sanctioning? We're going to take away our military aid, and then we're going to begin to hurt them. We're hurting a lot of Middle Eastern people. We have sanctions on Syria because of their anti-Israel stand. We have sanctions on Iran because of their anti-Israel stand. We're threatening to put sanctions on Lebanon now because they've got a new government that's going to be anti-Israel. That's a lot of people to be trying to starve. Turkey has decided to move with those people because it makes economic sense for them. It's all their neighbors. So we're losing countries. Egypt was a major pillar in the Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Israel. We gave them $2 billion a year because they'd signed peace with Israel. We're going to have to rethink that. A lot of people are saying we need to be friends with Turkey and Iran. We've got to figure out a way to get around it. It's very difficult to see how we're going to be friends with Iran in the Islamic Republic. But ultimately, it doesn't make sense to be at war with Iran and trying to starve 80 million people. It's just bad. Because America fundamentally believes that you need a strong middle class in order to have democracy. We say we want democracy in Iran, but we're trying to starve them. And we're impoverishing Iranians. And they are becoming poorer. Less likelihood that you're going to get a democratic response out of that. We saw that in Iraq. We had starved the Iraqis for a long time. And when we went in there and broke up the government, we got a lot of bad stuff come out. But partly that's because the middle class had already been dealt terrible blows. Now, most of that was Saddam's fault, but America didn't help by having sanctions for 10 years. So America is going to have to rethink its policy. It's going to be very difficult to do it, and I think we will drag our feet, because domestically, we're very pro-Israel, and I don't see where that's going to change. In the last August recess, 72 congressmen went to Israel in order to be anti-Obama, both Democrats and Republicans, to go against this two-state solution, and to say that settlers are not a problem, Iran's the problem, which undermines the president's position and our position in the Middle East. And it's going to create, so I don't see how we're going to get out of that. That's going to be a difficult hurdle to change the direction. And I think Congress is going to punish countries like Turkey for taking an independent stand, and if Egypt takes an independent stand, we're going to punish them too. And that's going to force us to rethink. So I don't know. I don't know where we're going to do it or how we're going to do it, but that's what I see as the problems coming up in the future. One more question? Thank you.